Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
So my name is Ryan Paul. I'm a PhD in aerospace engineering, and I spent the last 2 summers working for the Air Force Research Labs in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So the entire project I worked on was actually a fusion experiment. And I spent the first summer working on their spectroscopy equipment, so using light to diagnose plasma, temperatures, densities, that kind of stuff. The second year, this past summer, I was in charge of converting a few hundred gigabytes of data from raw data files into a useful file format that we can quickly and easily diagnose, test, look at data, that kind of stuff. So it was more of a programming-based summer. The school actually has a really good rate down there. It's the part of the Air Force Research Labs. They call them a lot of times Space Scholars, their Scholars program. They have Phillips Scholars for undergrads, and then Directed Energy, and then Space Scholars for the 2 different divisions in Albuquerque, New Mexico. One deals with directed energy stuff, one deals with space vehicles. And so I heard about it through professors in the aerospace department. They do a lot of their students have been in the program, so every year they email out to other students that are interested. That's so just down the grapevine in school. So the favorite part was dealing basically with the sheer terrifying nature of the experiment. It was over 1 million amps of current. We charged these capacitors, an entire room, the size of a small aircraft hangar full of capacitors, and then we would discharge them all in a fraction of a second. And so the main experiment, I never actually got to see fire. That one was about 10 million amps. The one we were firing was only in the order of about 1 million amps of current, and that was discharged in a couple microseconds. Big bang, building shakes a little, it's kind of cool. So obviously my internships are more fusion related, which doesn't seem very space-ish. My research project is very fusion based, and I got into the space-based stuff, obviously being an aerospace major. I was actually on the minor space team. I was president of that. After being on that for about 1.5 years, I became president for about 1 year. And then I was also on the satellite design team for about 3 years, and I ended up becoming propulsion lead. And so that's where my space background and passion comes from. And then the fusion just simply lined up with my research project. I'm working on a spacecraft propulsion system which uses nuclear type of technologies. And so the Air Force just liked my basic research enough that it applied closely enough to their research that we just kind of worked together. Yeah, so my research project is building or at least the early stages of a propulsion system for spacecraft. High energy, high density plasmas, basically charge up a high voltage capacitor. We only go about 15 or 20,000 volts and discharge somewhere between 20 to 30,000 amps through a metal conductor, and you generate plasma. And then what we'll eventually do is after we perform this plasma, we'll actually shoot it out into our vacuum chamber in our lab to generate thrust. And the Air Force is interested from a propulsion standpoint because you can deliver a lot of thrust, high efficiencies, and I think recent numbers are like you could reduce the travel time from Earth to Mars from 1 year to about 1 to 2 months. Definitely a lot of fun. The mentor is really good. You meet a lot of good people. Usually easy coming back to get a job. Really good, decently good pay as far as engineering salaries go. So yeah, I would definitely, if I had another chance, I would definitely do it again.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Space Jam, Space Jam, Space Jam, Space Jam. Alright.